everyone. Welcome back to Susan Dawn's Spiritual Connections. Welcome to a brand new Sacred Union Energy Update. This is going to be a special update for the full moon in Gemini. Now, I want to talk about this for a minute because I wasn't planning on doing this full moon reading, but I kept getting this energy the past couple of days of twins. And you guys know that I don't prefer that label. I don't prefer that phrase. I like sacred partners. I like counterparts. And I use twin flame, occasionally in order to kind of really hone in on what it is that we're talking about. But I do feel and I do believe that the phrase twin flame has been very hijacked and corrupted in the spiritual community. And so I don't prefer to use that because it has a lot of connotation attached to it. And a lot of that connotation is negative connotation. It has a lot of false kind of energy attached to it. So I don't like to use that phrase. I do like sacred partners and I do like counterparts. And that is, in essence, what we're talking about here. That is, for me, the same as twin flames. When I'm talking about sacred partners and counterparts, I am talking about twin flames. I just don't prefer that label because, again, it has a very fixed kind of context about it in the spiritual community, where in the spiritual community there's a focus on, for the most part, romantic relationships versus what a twin flame really is, which is a sacred partner, which is a divine counterpart. So I was hearing this phrase twins, and I realized that this full moon is the full moon in Gemini, and the Gemini is the sign of the twins. And I keep getting these mirroring aspects of each other, and we had that in we have this in the spread as well, which is interesting. I took note of that before I came on. I decided I just wanted to pull some cards and see if I was going to be getting anything, because I'm a little bit shut down right now. I'm focusing on my health. I'm getting geared up for the year ahead readings, which are starting this week, starting to be delivered this week. So I'm a little bit, taking care of myself, taking care of my health this weekend. And I said, I'm not going to do a reading. Well, the best laid plans are ones where you just release all plans. they always get kind of disrupted somehow. So I just allowed myself to say, okay, let's just pull some cards and see what's going on. And it's very interesting because I do feel like this full moon is going to support a monumental shift. I'm being very careful and precise with my words here because Spirit is being very careful and precise with the energy. When they're saying it's support for this shift, remember that astrologically, all astrological events are supporting us, but we do have this free will. We do have conscious choices or unconscious choices that we get to make. Portals are opening up all the time. They are not fixed things. For example, new moons and full moons are always opportunities for us, and that's why they're supportive of us for choices that we make. When you have portals like 11:11, when you have portals like 12:12, remember that those are just enhanced energy, amplified energy. You always have an opportunity to walk through any new timeline, to shift your consciousness, to shift your energy anytime you choose. It is not, oh, it's December 13th, I missed the 12:12 portal, this is over. I lost my chance. No, there's always energy that is supporting you. There's always portals and doorways and timelines that are opening up. It's up to you. It's your conscious choice that moves you through into shifting timelines, moves you through into new consciousness, new levels and layers of your ascension journey. It is not about the date itself. That is just amplified energy. It's just enhanced to support you in those decisions, in those shifts, in those new levels of consciousness. But you're not missing anything. We have to understand that where we are in the journey is exactly what is right for us. So there's a lot. I've been on TikTok a lot, which is interesting because it's almost like it's given me a window into what's actually happening in the spiritual community. And I have been brought into these rabbit holes quite a lot over the past couple of years, where Spirit shows me what's happening, shows me maybe some conspiracy theories that are being touted, or shows me, puts me down rabbit holes as far as, other spiritual concepts. And Spirit always pulls me back out, always brings me back, and reminds me that it's to be a witness, it's to be an observer. And so I've been on TikTok, and it's interesting because there's a lot of information that is shared on TikTok, and that's where we have to have discernment, not to believe everything that we hear, but to have discernment and recognize that the power is within you. It is not from somebody who is sharing. It is not with somebody who is preaching. It is not with somebody who is seems like an authority. Even myself, I'm putting myself in that too. You have to trust yourself. You have to take what resonates for you. And that's always what we've taught here. You have to take what resonates for you and discern for yourself. What is your truth? There is no middleman. We have guides, we have mentors, we have healers, we have readers who are here to help us facilitate and navigate our own journey. And that's what I feel is the role that I play, helping you to facilitate and navigate your journey. But you have to take ownership of that for yourself too. You have to take responsibility of that for yourself too. That's where you have to have discernment and decide what resonates for you. Decide what is your truth, and recognize that your spiritual journey is a personal path to you, and that guides, healers, readers might lay out blueprints for a path, but it's your decisions, your choices. It's you trusting yourself and your intuition, and the best guides will always empower you to do just that. Not to take what they say verbatim, but to put it into the context of their whole teachings, and to empower you to trust yourself and your intuition, to recognize that you need no middleman to God, that you are the direct connection to your spiritual path and your spiritual journey, and even to your twin flame. That is what we teach here, and I am emphatic about that because I have seen and witnessed and observed how there are so many who are being steered off their own course, who are being steered away from their own truth, when you should be taught to trust yourself, trust your intuition, to use your own discernment, to take what resonates with you and disregard the rest. It might not be for you, the rest, especially when we're doing collective readings, or especially when we're sharing collective spiritual concepts. Take what resonates for you at this moment. I recently had a client say that she revisited one of her 2023 personal readings. And she said, "Oh my gosh, I understand it now. I understand what was being said. I understood it when I listened to it back then, but now it's resonating on a whole new level." And that's because that is what the ascension journey is. The ascension journey is an inner spiral of deeper and deeper levels and layers of understanding. And you're always going to be evolving. You're always going to be growing. You're always going to be understanding on new levels. But you have to trust yourself and follow your own intuition, follow your own path to that understanding. Again, guides, healers, readers will help you navigate and facilitate that. But it's your journey, and that's the beauty and the blessing of your journey. It's bringing you home to your truth. It's bringing you home to your own awareness. It's bringing you home to your own consciousness. And there are some incredible guides, healers, and mentors out there. And I have some linked on my website, those that I trust, those that I resonate with. But it's for you to discover. It's for you to find and trust in what you're receiving, who resonates with you, who vibes with you, in the lingo of the day, right? Who's vibing with you, who's resonating with your soul, who's speaking to you. That's where you have to trust your own intuition. So I say that emphatically because I've witnessed and observed so much information that it can get confusing, and especially with regards to twin flames, sacred union, etc. That's where a lot of hijacking can come into play. That's where it can pull you off course. You're meant to go within you, not to rely on outside resources. And I say that even for myself. I teach not to rely on outside resources. That's why I've kind of shifted into more of the spiritual mentorship course, because I want to empower you to trust yourself when it comes to your sacred union journey, because it's all within you. It is truly within you. Everything that I share and everything that I do is a reflection of what is already within you. When you get readings that resonate, it's because it's validating what you already know. It's confirming what you already know. And I will, every couple of months or every half year or so, get a reading from a trusted friend or mentor just to make sure that I'm on track. I just met with my astrologist to make sure that I'm on track, and my astrology is supporting everything where I am, including my need to, ironically, to focus on my health, which is what I've been doing the past couple of months. Really pulling back, it might not seem like it, but really pulling back in order to focus on my health, in order to focus on my energy. And so I'll do the same. I know that's where I needed to be, but I'll get an astrology reading, and that astrology reading is just supporting where I know that I am, just confirming where I know that I am. That's how I know I'm in alignment, when my readings or when astrology is supporting where I already am, where it's showing me that I'm in alignment. So I say that because, well, we do collective readings that are showing us where we are collectively, but recognize that where you are for you is perfect for you. And I don't ever want you to forget that. I don't ever want you to get caught up in what's the collective doing? Oh, I'm feeling too far behind, or this isn't happening for me, so I must not be in union, or this must not happen for me. I want you to get out of that mindset, because if you feel it within you, then you're creating it. If you feel it within you, then it's part of you. That is part of your journey. That is part of your empowerment, learning how to trust in yourself regardless of what the naysayers are saying, regardless of what the outside is saying. You create from within you, and your union is always within you. Don't look to a reading to confirm whether or not you're in union. Look to a reading to help you navigate what you already know. Look to a reading to help guide you, to help you navigate your journey, to help you navigate your way home to yourself and your intuition, your personal path to God, your personal journey with your twin flame or your counterpart, not something outside of yourself. So that has been an emphatic message that has been coming through for the past 6 months. You might get tired of me saying it, but I will never tire of saying it, because I feel like it's so important, especially now. In an age where there's so much information, in an age where anybody has a platform, it is really important for you to go within the platform of yourself, go within the connection of yourself, and trust within yourself. Trust what your journey is. Okay? All right. Oh, what wanted to come out? Divine creativity, receiving cosmic intelligence. Yeah. And see that's that inner spiral. And I love it's the rainbow, because the rainbow bridge is you. We always talk about how spirituality is not about ascending out of the human construct. It's not about ascending out of being human. It's about being the bridge between the human and the spiritual source. You are the spiritual source. God is the spiritual source, but you are part of God. You are one with God. You are an aspect of God. So you are with God. God is always with you. God, creator, higher power, universe, whatever it is that you want to call it. You are the rainbow bridge between the two. And ascension is a journey for you to recognize that you are that divine creation. You are that rainbow bridge. You are the bridge itself. In essence, you are union. And so union has and always will be part of you, and always has been part of you. Stop looking at the separation. Stop looking into what feeds the illusion of that separation, and start fine tuning your beliefs back to union. Start fine tuning your beliefs back to yourself and back to your eternal internal connection to God's source. You can always find evidence to the contrary if you want it. You will always find evidence to support your beliefs. So what is it that you choose to believe? The butterflies here, all about that transformation. Okay, so the full moon in Gemini is this movement of the twins, and I feel like this emphatic message is coming through because it is time. It is time for you to recognize the union within yourself and stop looking to the contrary, or stop believing in the contrary. If you're in no contact or no communication, it doesn't mean that you're not in union. You have to enter into that union within yourself first. It is all within you. The outside, the external, is just a reflection. And that's where you can get caught up in the hijacking, in the manipulation, in the corruption, especially in the twin flame community, which is why I don't like to refer to the twin flame community. I even don't like to be part of the twin flame community with regards to the spiritual community, because it has gotten so hijacked. What is he doing? What is she not doing? What is he saying? What is she not saying? You know, it's all this looking to the physical for evidence when you're meant to be going within yourself. This is a journey within. And that's what your higher heart ascension is all about. The second part of your spiritual awakening, second part of your spiritual ascension. The first part might be understanding your journey, understanding your connection. So you are understanding yourself, you're understanding your journey. And then you free yourself from what I call the twin flame matrix, and you move into the higher heart ascension. I have a number of resources. Number one, including my book, The Unity Code. Number two, we have our Journey to Union bundle available in our Ascension Connections portal, which is highlights from all of our readings, all of our teachings put into context, so that if you're just with us, if you're just joining us, or even if you have been here for a while and want to revisit, it is all of our teachings and all of our channelings put into one video bundle, so that you can see very easily, have access to everything, all of our teachings and all of the context and channelings in which we teach. All of this teaching about how it is within you. It is always within you. Everything is within you. Your external world is just a reflection. Your union outside is a reflection of the union within. This is your journey to union. But what is union? Union is oneness, wholeness within yourself, so that you are whole one with your counterpart, yes, with God, yes, and with all, so that you are releasing the illusion of separation. I'm going to start with the union energies here, because this is exactly what it is. This is what your mission is. It's coming home to yourself. And you see how you have one swan here with that crown on its head. This is you in your self-empowerment, in your divine creation, in your sovereignty. This is you in oneness with yourself, so that you are in oneness with all. This doesn't mean that you're separate from your counterpart. Your counterpart is one with you, not separate. It's like there's two of you here, but two becomes one. That is the soul merge. That is the soul merge. That is the sacred divine mission. It's to recognize your own divinity, to recognize your empowerment, to recognize that Christ Sophia consciousness, not as separate entities, but as one energy within you. That is what your twin flame is showing you. That is what your sacred partner, divine counterpart, whatever label you choose, they are just labels to help us differentiate between the connections that we have, to help us understand the journey and put it into logical context. Because as humans, we desire that logical context. As humans, we put things in the ego, we try to identify with things. And so it's just a label to help us. But you know energetically, you know spiritually what each connection means for you when you're looking at it from the soul perspective. We're always bringing it to the soul perspective. I used this analogy with a client once. Rather than just sitting in a theater and watching the movie onto screen, pull back, look at it from the whole perspective. Look at all it takes to create a movie. Is you're not just watching a movie play out, you are also the actors and the producers and the directors and the set designers that are creating your life, that are creating your reality. You are all, and everybody plays a part. And so look at your life from the soul perspective, where everybody is playing a part. Look at it from the energetic perspective of how everybody is maneuvering in your life and playing a part for your soul growth, because that's what it is. Imagine if everybody's on the other side before your incarnation and saying, here's what the part that I'm gonna play for you. I'm gonna be your antagonist. I'm going to be the antithesis for you. I'm going to be your mirror. I'm going to be your catalyst. I'm going to be your friend, your support. They're from the soul level, everybody is playing a part for your evolution. Just as on a soul level, you too are playing a part for theirs. There is no either or. That's what you learn on your ascension journey through your experience. You learn that there is no either or. It is an and. Everything becomes an and. Everything is a middle way. It's not black or white. It's a middle path. It is a middle way. That's what your ascension teaches you. And so here you have Well, I'm going to get to this card. They wanted me to look at this card first. Mission accomplished. We'll get back to the union energies in a minute. I'm going to talk about the energies that we pulled here. And even though I have it set up in our usual divine masculine, divine feminine places, I'm going to talk about this as a whole because I feel like it's as a whole. Remember that even if you have a counterpart, for example, I usually speak to divine feminines. Even if you have a divine masculine counterpart, we're also speaking to the divine masculine energy within you, which is reflective in your counterpart. Your counterpart is not separate from you. Yes, they might be another physical person. They might have their own memories and experiences and journeys, but they are reflective of the masculine energy within you. That is the divine mirror. You are one energy. So they are you in another physical being, in another physical person. That's why you have these parallel experiences throughout your life. It's that red string of fate kind of energy. It's why you have these parallel experiences in your life. You are twins, not identical. You present as opposites. I did a reading called Union of Opposites. You present as opposites, you present as mirrors because it is the yin and the yang, but you are one. You are still one. And I go deep into this in the book. I go deep into this in my other channelings and sacred channelings and other teachings. So I don't want to reiterate this here now, but they're bringing it up to emphasize that your counterpart is not separate from you. So they might present in another person in their actions and in their movements and in their journey and their life and their experiences, but they are you. Your energy is a shared energy. And so when we're setting this up, realize that some of the messages might be for you as well. It doesn't feel like there's a separation here. And you even have that in the mirroring cards here. You see in this deck, I haven't examined this deck a whole lot, but in this deck you have different headers, 1111, 11, the different colors too. And these two cards came out at the same time, and these two cards came out at the same time. And this is mirrored energy here. So take these messages not just for what is your physical counterpart doing, but take these messages for your inner masculine as well, because it might resonate for your inner masculine that you might be working with or that you might be healing as well. And you need to work on and heal both, not just the feminine energy, but your inner masculine too, in order for that oneness within, in order for that union within. And again, as within, so without. As you experience that union within, that healed, more conscious version of yourself within, the evolving version of yourself within, you will experience that outside of yourself. You will experience that within your counterpart connection. You will experience that within your life, with other people, with other relationships. Everything in your life will be a reflection of the energy, the beliefs, the union that you're holding within you. Okay? Take some time with that. Revisit that. Really let that sink in and embody, because I feel like that's really important to understand. Just like my client revisited and listened to her personal reading from a year ago and it resonated on an even deeper level, that's this here. All of our channelings, all of our teachings are timeless. So feel free to go back through the free playlists and see what might resonate with you on a deeper level now, because you're evolving, your consciousness is expanding. You're going to understand things differently. You might have heard things and consciously, intellectually understood it, but to embody it, to integrate it, is a different level and a different layer of your journey. Same thing happens with me. There are books that I'll read or movies that I'll watch or teachings that I will revisit of my own that I might have channeled or I might have understood when I was channeling, but then I will go deeper in my journey and understand, oh, okay, that's what it meant. Now I'm embodying that. Now I'm integrating it. Now it makes more sense because I am experiencing it. That's what embodiment is. It's the experiencing of your understanding, the experiencing of your evolution. And so you might hear it once, but really take your time with it. Okay? All right, on to these messages. I don't quite know where to start, honestly, because it feels like A lot was coming through. When these two cards came out, Take Me Home and Karmic Relationship, Releasing the Past, Pathway to True Love, immediately what I felt is that some of you might be releasing karmic relationships. Now, again, this can be you or this could be your counterpart. I put it in the masculine place because that's where it felt it belonged. So it could be that the masculine is releasing karmic relationships. Now, karmic relationships are a triggered word, right? Especially in the twin flame community. I want you to start looking at karmic relationships not as something detrimental, not as something negative. Karmic relationships can be triggering, they can be toxic, they can be difficult, they can be challenging, but always look at it from the soul's perspective. Again, pull back from the human experience and look at it from the soul's perspective. That does not mean you are denying the human experience. That does not mean that you are avoiding or bypassing the human experience. Take the action that you are guided to take when it comes to those connections. If this is a karmic relationship that you're in, for example, and this doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, this could be a family member, this could be a friendship, this could be whatever. Karmic relationship, I also want to add, does not have to be with a person. It can be a situation, it could be an addiction, it could be a financial struggle, a belief, it could be a medical situation, whatever that is. You're releasing that. And it's interesting that I say medical because I'm experiencing that myself, where for myself, I've had some health flares over the past couple of weeks. And what I'm realizing is that it is pushing me more to focus on my health, which I've already been doing for the past 2 years. Actually, I've already been doing for the past 10 years. But even more to that focus, where I'm being forced to look at, where am I still abandoning myself? Where am I still neglecting myself and my health needs? Where do I have to focus on my health more in order to be the healthy version that I want? Especially as somebody who has historically had chronic illness like Epstein-Barr and Lyme disease, where do I need to focus more on my health so that I can really be the healthiest version that I desire to be? That's where I am creating that healthy version by being forced to look at, okay, where am I still abandoning myself? Where am I still neglecting myself? And that comes down to work for me. My work is my passion. I love what I do. It's my passion and my purpose combined. But I also see where I neglect myself in order to put my work and my service and my mission first. And so that's what I'm releasing. I'm releasing that energy of abandonment, releasing that energy of self-neglect so that I can come into that wholeness within myself and that proper work-life balance, that proper balance within myself, that proper harmony within myself. So it doesn't have to be a personal relationship. It can be health, it could be finances, it can be addictions, it can be whatever it is that might pose as a challenge to you. So I feel like you are releasing that energy. And a lot of that is tinged on the past. A lot of that is attached to past energy. And that's why it's a karmic thing. It's because karma is a repeating cycle. So you might be hooked into a cycle, and that's what you're repeating. That's what you're releasing. You're releasing that hook. You're releasing that attachment on that cycle, on that repeating cycle, that repeating pattern. So releasing that in order to really truly come home to yourself, and you're understanding that that is the pathway to love, by loving yourself. So I want to get back to karmic relationships specifically, and I talk about that in my book as well. You might have these toxic relationships or toxic patterns or whatever, challenging relationships, but and take action for your health, for your needs. You're not meant to attach to anything that is unhealthy for you. And that's where it's very important too to release the label. You know, even in twin flame connections, twin flame sacred partner connections, because of the amount of energy between the two of you, if it's unhealed, can feel very toxic. And so don't hold on just because of the label, just because you're saying, oh, but they're my twin, they're my sacred partner. You're not meant to keep yourself beholden to anything or anyone that is unhealthy or that is unconscious. That is part of your evolution. That is part of your healing. That is part of your journey. to allow yourself to release and not hold on just because of a label or just because of whatever XYZ belief is. Keep evolving and keep expanding. And so when it comes to karmic relationships, for example, and I specifically want to speak to I especially want to speak to sacred partners and those who are looking at, for example, your counterpart's karmic. If your counterpart is with somebody who is a karmic relationship, they might be learning through that karmic relationship. So allow them their journey. Look at the karmic relationship as a gift to you, because they're actually bringing through gifts for you. They might be bringing through, they might be doing healing that maybe you can't do with your counterpart because of the energy, because you've already learned that lesson, and maybe that's a lesson that they're learning on their journey. So I go into that within my book, deep into that within my book. I don't want to repeat myself here. I just want to emphasize, begin shifting, especially if you have resentment or negativity towards karmics, begin shifting your perspective. Be opening up your energy field to love, to oneness, to forgiveness, to acceptance, whatever it is. And remember, this is a collective reading. So if you are having trouble on your journey, I have a number of resources again in our Ascension Connections portal. I have the Healing and Harmony activation series. There is one activation that is specifically geared around the karmic that you can check out. Or you can always book a one-on-one session with me, a guidance mentoring session, so that we can work through this together. But I really want you to begin looking at this from a different perspective. What has this been teaching you? What has this been teaching your counterpart? And if it's teaching your counterpart, it's teaching you too. What has this been teaching you about your own evolution, about your own capacity for love, your own capacity for forgiveness, your own capacity for compassion? Where are you still hooked into the twin flame matrix, and how can you expand and evolve beyond it? So I feel like this Gemini full moon is really helping us to release these patterns, these karmic connections, these karmic relationships, whatever they might be. Because this full moon is asking you to shift your beliefs and release old beliefs, release old versions of yourself, release old patterns, release old perspectives. It's asking you to shift your consciousness beyond what you once thought it was. It's asking you to expand. That is the pathway to love. That is the pathway home. And I'm also getting guided to these numbers here. You have 1 to 1. That's this kind of very limited, narrowed perspective that you might have kind of been in. And when I say these things, please understand that I'm not saying this or channeling with any judgment. This is just the energy that we're picking up on. There is no judgment in the energy that we're picking up on. It's just to help you navigate your journey and shift your journey. So when I say a narrow perspective, that's where we are in the unconscious, right? That's where we are when we're looking at it from a very human perspective. You're being asked to shift your unconscious state into one of higher consciousness, into one of what I call the higher heart ascension, which is an expanded consciousness. And that's where the 1111 comes in. The 1111 is an expansive number. So from the narrow to the expansive, from the unconscious to the conscious, that's where you're being asked to shift. From the karmic to the expanded love. This is the pathway. Expansion of your consciousness, shifting in your perspective and shifting in your beliefs is the pathway to love. Okay? So there's that. The next thing that came through was we got the generator and we got acknowledge. So the generator, stay grounded and acknowledge, take responsibility. This is where you're responsible for your journey, for yourself, rather than looking outside of yourself. And this is why I was asked to put this in the feminine, because I feel like this is really what the feminine is working on. You might be working on both. Your counterpart is working on both because you are in the shared energy. So obviously you're going to be working on it together. From the highest perspective, it might look like one's working on one and one's working on the other, but remember, you're one. It's your inner feminine and your inner masculine together. So it might just depend on where you are in your journey, what your focus might be. You might be more focused on your masculine energy. You might be more focused on your feminine energy. So it just depends on what the focus is, but you're always working on this together. There's truly never a separation here. So with this energy, this is about recognizing that what is outside of you is a reflection of the beliefs and the energy and the frequency that you hold within you. And that is where you take responsibility and accountability for yourself and for your experiences. For example, if you're still feeling like your counterpart is separate from you, then where are you continuing to experience that reality? Where are you continuing in that energy? Where are you continuing to attach to that? Where are you still holding on to the physical evidence and the data as the be all end all, rather than informing that within yourself? Let me put it this way. I use this with my one-to-one clients a lot. Your physical world is going to be reflective of all the energy, frequency, and beliefs that you hold within. I'm reiterating that because it's important. When you see things in your physical that you like or that you don't like, use those as data points. Use those as opportunities to really hone in on your energy. What is that reflecting to you? What is that mirroring to you? What is it that you need to shift or change within yourself? If you are experiencing, for example, no contact or separation or no communication or poor communication, then what is that showing you about yourself? Maybe it's showing you to have better boundaries. Maybe it's telling you to speak up and say, hey, no communication is not okay with me. The way that you're speaking to me is not okay with me. It's asking you to express yourself more. It's going to be different for everybody. I'm making it more abstract because this is a collective reading. So I want you to take it as it resonates for you. For example, it might be having boundaries of, are you continuing to pursue somebody who is continuing no contact? Where are you? That's the runner chaser energy, right? That's the chaser energy, not even just the runner energy, but the chaser energy. So where do you need to bring that energy back to yourself and reclaim your power, reclaim your energy, rather than giving it over to somebody who is in silence or is in no contact? They might be showing you, for example, as a data point, where you are not in your full empowerment, not in your full power, where you are leaking your energy or giving your energy over to something that is maybe not in alignment with you. So everything is going to be reflection. Everything is going to be a data point for you. What is it showing you? That is where you empower yourself. That is where taking responsibility and taking accountability for you is a superpower. Because you get to say, hey, I can recognize that this reflection, what I'm experiencing in my reality, is not actually what I prefer. It's not what I desire. So what do I need to change within myself? I can't control my environment. I can't control other people. I can't control what my counterpart is doing. But I can control myself. I can control how I respond to this. I can control how I interact. I can control how I express myself. I can control the boundaries I have. Boundaries, as we learned in the Mastering Spiritual Boundaries workshop, is not a block. It is not a guard against. It is actually an invitation for healthier connection and healthier communication and healthier relationship and interaction. Because it's showing to you and other people by proxy what you deserve, what you desire, and that what your standards are, and that you will not take less than that. That is empowering. That is where you claim your power. And so if you don't feel empowered, where have you been giving your energy away? Maybe not just to your counterpart, but in other areas of your life that your counterpart is trying to show you. So the generator, 2 messages coming through with this card aligned with this is, number 1, you create, you generate. It is your energy, especially for feminines. Feminines, your energy is an amplifier. Your energy expands naturally. And so when we're talking about masculine and feminine energy, we're talking about an infinity sign. The masculine, I'll just show you this in my book. The masculine gives and the feminine receives. This is a natural congruence. The masculine, how do I do this? The feminine receives and is able to give more to the masculine. The masculine gives so that the feminine can receive. The feminine receives again and is able to give more to the feminine. If there is a split, if there is a divide here, then the feminine is going to be drained and depleted because she's overgiving and overgiving and overgiving and not allowing hers to receive. Or, on the other hand, the masculine is taking and taking and taking, and naturally he wants to provide. Naturally he wants to give. He doesn't have anything to give. He doesn't have anywhere to give. If the feminine isn't able to receive, there has to be a natural flow of energy. This happens within yourself, and this happens with conscious connections. You have to be able to receive, amplify that energy, and in overflow, give. And then the masculine gives, so the feminine receives and amplifies that energy and gives back. And the masculine then he receives so that he can give more, and it's on and on and on and on and on into this infinite energy. So I hope that makes sense. You are a generator. You are creating your reality. The feminine energy creates the reality. She's a creator. The masculine energy is the grounded energy, the grounded presence that puts that into motion, that puts that into action. But the feminine energy, she is the one that carries the blueprint. She carries the template. One of the analogies that we use is if you're building a house, for example, the feminine energy will have the imagination and the blueprint for the design. The masculine, she then gives that to the masculine, and the masculine will then put that into practice, put that into action, and build the house that the feminine has created, that the feminine has designed. You're working together. That doesn't mean that if you're two people who are building a house together that you don't have input with each other. This is the masculine and the feminine energy we're talking about within yourself, working together. You're not waiting for an external masculine to build the house for you. Your inner masculine can have the tools and the resources to build the house yourself. If you're a female, for example, you're not waiting for a male to do it for you. You can do it yourself. But it's the masculine and the feminine energy that is working in harmony, that is working together. And in a conscious connection, like a sacred partnership, what is happening is that the feminine has the insight, the intuitive ability, the imagination, the creation, and she is working with the masculine to create that. And you're doing that together. You're doing that in harmony. And in a conscious connection, in a sacred relationship, you are sharing those ideas. You are sharing that creativity. You are both expressing yourself and coming to it's not the word compromise, coming to a compatible conclusion. I don't have the word for it as I'm channeling. A compatible conclusion, a harmonious conclusion for what it is that you're creating. And then you work together to create. For example, another example is, we'll just put children, for example, raising children. You create children together, right? And you parent together. And we're talking idealistically. We're talking like in the higher energy, in the higher frequency. If everything was harmonious, if you were in this union, in a sacred partnership, in conscious connection, healthy connection, there's always varying degrees. But in harmony, you create children together. Even if you haven't created physically that child together, if you're raising children together, whether as teachers or whether as authority figures of some sort, as biological parents or as step parents or whatever, you are raising children together. And so you are sharing ideas, sharing resources, and actively participating in raising the child together. That's you giving birth to that third energy. That's you giving birth to that creation energy. That could be in a business too, where you are both sharing ideas for the business and creating within the business, but then you are also both in your strengths, whatever those strengths are. You will both have different strengths. You are both actively doing your part to make the business succeed. Let's go with the business idea. For example, One person might have a strength in the admin side of things. One might have a strength in the communication side of things, the back end side and the front side of things. So you will both get together and communicate and express yourselves and have ideas and share creative pursuits and generate ideas. And you will also create the business in such a way that you are honoring each other's strengths and supporting each other's strengths. One might do the back end and one might do the front end. So that's where you are utilizing both the masculine and the feminine energies, both within yourself as one individual being and in partnership and healthy conscious connection with each other. That's where you're generating ideas and being in the grounded version, staying grounded. That's the oneness. And I really like how you have this pillar of light that is flowing down from above, so below, as within, so without. So that's where it's important for you to recognize that you create your own reality, that you give birth to your reality through your perspective, through your beliefs, through your consciousness, and yes, even through your actions. That is the oneness. That is the union of the masculine and the feminine. So bringing it to the union energies, we have I am enough, mission accomplished. Your mission is coming home to yourself. Your mission is your union. And part of that mission is recognizing that you're not seeking anything external, but that is all held within you. It is all part of you. Let go of what you think the journey needs to be, or what you think it should be, or what you're told it should be, and let it unfold as this beautiful journey of love that it is. Let it unfold as this beautiful journey of divine creation that it is. This beautiful bridge that it is, bridging you from what you thought you knew to this new level of understanding, this new expansive energy, from the unconscious to the conscious, from lack to abundance, from separation to unity. You are the bridge. And recognize that that bridge is union. It is union. And you are and always have been in union. You are and always have been one with your counterpart. Keep shifting that perspective and keep letting go of anything that is not honoring of that perspective. Anything that is not honoring of you. Okay, this was unexpectedly deep. We're going to turn this into an ascension, maybe a special sacred channeling, because I don't want this to be missed in the playlist. I don't want this to be missed in the fray, because I feel like this is an important understanding. And this is where the shift is coming in. They're saying this is that full moon Gemini shift. This is why it's really important for twin, sacred partners, divine counterparts, whatever label you want to call it, it's that same energy. This is why it's so important, because this is that forward momentum we've been channeling. This shift in consciousness is what is creating that forward momentum. And the more that we embody this, the more we see that reflective in our physical experience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back early this week with a Sacred Union energy update and see specifically where is the masculine and the feminine in the journey. But this feels like a higher look at your Sacred Union path of ascension. So this is where we are from that higher perspective. Okay? Let me know how this resonates. I'm sending lots of love and lots of light, and we'll see you soon.